A night together turned into something unexpected. She wants to stay forever. The arrival's promise. The shuttle's descent through Celestara's atmosphere painted streaks of amber across Commander Marcus Kane's viewport. After months in the void between stars, the planet's verdant continents and crystal blue oceans felt almost overwhelming in their vibrancy. He adjusted his diplomatic uniform one final time, knowing this trade negotiation could establish humanity's first permanent alliance with the Celestrians. The landing platform gleamed like polished pearl beneath the binary suns. As the airlock hissed open, warm air carrying hints of jasmine and something indefinably sweet washed over him. A delegation waited, their graceful forms draped in flowing fabrics that seemed to shift color with each movement. She stood slightly apart from the others. Lirelei Starweaver moved forward with a fluidity that made Marcus's breath catch. Her skin held a subtle luminescence, as if moonlight lived beneath its surface, with delicate silver patterns tracing along her neck like constellation maps. But it was her eyes, deep violet with flecks of gold, that held him transfixed as she approached. Commander Kane, her voice carried a musical quality, each word carefully shaped. I am Lirelei, your assigned cultural liaison. Welcome to Celestara. When she extended her hand in the human greeting she'd clearly studied, Marcus noticed the slight tremor in her fingers. Was she nervous too? The touch of her palm against his sent an unexpected warmth through him. The honor is mine, he managed, reluctantly releasing her hand. Your world is breathtaking. A smile played at her lips. Wait until you see the crystal gardens. If you'll follow me. As they walked through the spaceport's archways, she maintained a professional distance, yet Marcus caught her stealing glances. She guided him past fountains that sang with actual music, their waters defying gravity in spiraling patterns. Tell me, she said, pausing beside a grove of luminous trees, what made Earth's Council choose you for this mission? Honestly, I think they wanted someone who'd appreciate beauty alongside trade routes, Marcus admitted, surprised by his candor. She turned to face him fully then, studying him with an intensity that made his pulse quicken. And do you appreciate beauty? More every moment, he said quietly, holding her gaze. The faintest blush of lavender colored her cheeks.
Come, Commander.
The gardens await, and I have so much to show you before tonight's celebration. Though I suspect, she added with a knowing look, this visit may hold more surprises than either of us expected. Dancing with starlight. The diplomatic gala transformed the Crystal Palace into a symphony of light and sound. Hundreds of floating luminescent orbs cast shifting patterns across the gathered delegates, while musicians played instruments that seemed to pull harmony from the very air. Marcus stood at the room's edge, unable to stop watching Lirelei as she moved through the crowd, her gown now shimmering between deep purple and midnight blue. She caught his gaze across the room and approached with 2 glasses of swirling, opalescent liquid. Star wine, she explained, offering him one. It's traditional to share it with someone you hope to understand better. Their fingers brushed during the exchange, lingering a moment longer than necessary. The wine tasted of summer nights and distant nebulae, warming him from within. There's something I should show you, Lirelei said, her voice dropping to an intimate whisper. Our unity dance, it's part of the ceremony, but I'd need a partner. Would you? I don't know the steps, Marcus admitted, though he was already setting down his glass. Trust me. She took his hand, leading him to the floor center as the music shifted to something deeper, more primal. The dance is about connection, not perfection. She positioned his hand at her waist, placed hers on his shoulder, and their free hands joined between them. The music swelled, and she began to move, guiding him through flowing steps that felt ancient and instinctive. Other dancers gave them space, forming a circle around them. Feel the rhythm in the air, she murmured, close enough that her breath warmed his neck. Let it guide you. Marcus surrendered to her lead, their bodies finding synchronization that surprised them both. The dance required them to orbit each other, drawing apart only to spiral back closer. During one turn, her back pressed against his chest, their interlinked hands stretched before them, and he felt her heartbeat racing to match his own. You're a natural, she breathed as they faced each other again, mere inches apart. I have an excellent teacher, he replied, his hand sliding more firmly around her waist. The music reached its crescendo, traditionally ending with partners at arm's length. Instead, they remained close, foreheads nearly touching, breathing the same air. The audience applauded, but the sound felt distant. "Come with me," Lirelei whispered urgently. "Please. Before protocol demands we separate." She led him through silk curtains onto a private balcony where bioluminescent vines created a natural canopy. Below, the Aurora Falls cascaded in ribbons of living light. "This is sacred to my people," she said softly. "We believe these falls can see into hearts, revealing truth." She turned to face him, vulnerability replacing her earlier poise. "What does your heart tell you, Marcus?" Moonrise Confessions. The pathway to Lirelei's dwelling wound through groves of singing trees, their melodies growing softer as night deepened. Marcus walked beside her in comfortable silence, both still processing the intensity of their dance. When they reached her home, an elegant structure carved into living crystal that overlooked a vast sapphire canyon, she hesitated at the threshold. "This is highly irregular," she said, not meeting his eyes. "Bringing an off-world diplomat to my private space." "We can return to my quarters if you prefer," Marcus offered, though everything in him hoped she wouldn't accept.
No.
She looked up at him then, decision firm in her violet eyes. "I want you here. I want you to see who I am beyond ceremony and protocol." Her home's interior reflected her dual nature, advanced technology seamlessly integrated with natural elements. Soft cushions surrounded a low table where she poured more star wine, this time a deeper, richer variety. They settled close together, the canyon's bioluminescent depths providing ethereal lighting. "Tell me something real," she requested, tucking her legs beneath her. "Something you've never told another diplomat." Marcus considered, then spoke truthfully. "I'm terrified of spending my entire life in formal meetings and empty hotel rooms. Of being surrounded by people but never truly known by anyone." Her hand found his, fingers interlacing naturally. "I understand that loneliness. My people value connection above all else, yet my role keeps me perpetually apart, always the bridge, never the destination. What would you choose, if duty didn't matter?" "This," she whispered, shifting closer. "Moments like this, where two souls meet without pretense." She reached up, fingers tracing the line of his jaw. "I studied your files before you arrived. Your compassion in the Andromeda negotiations, how you chose mutual benefit over Earth's advantage. I requested this assignment, Marcus, because something in your words, your choices, called to me." "Lirelei." He began, but she pressed a finger to his lips. "Both moons are rising. See." She gestured to the sky where two celestial bodies climbed toward alignment. "Legend says when they meet, truth becomes unavoidable." Marcus cradled her face in his hands, thumb brushing across her cheek's silver patterns. "Then here's my truth. I felt more alive in these hours with you than in years of stellar travel." Their lips met as the moons touched above, the kiss tender yet charged with suppressed longing. She tasted of starlight and possibilities, her arms wrapping around his neck as he drew her closer. When they finally parted, both were breathing unsteadily. "Stay," she whispered against his mouth. "Not as commander and liaison, but as Marcus and Lirelei. Let me show you how my people love, with nothing held back." Morning's revelation. Dawn on Celestara arrived in waves of gold and rose, the binary suns painting Lirelei's crystalline walls with prismatic light. Marcus woke to find her tracing invisible patterns on his chest, her violet eyes contemplative. They'd spent the night sharing stories, gentle touches, and kisses that grew progressively deeper, though both had held back from crossing certain boundaries, savoring the sweet tension of discovery. "You're thinking very loudly," he murmured, catching her hand and bringing it to his lips. She smiled, but uncertainty flickered across her features. "My people have a tradition, soul-binding. It's intimate, more than physical. It allows two beings to truly understand each other, to share emotions and glimpses of thought. And you want this? With me?" "I've never wanted anything more," she admitted. "But it would change things. You'd need to stay longer than 3 days. The process takes time, trust, and your superiors might not approve." Marcus sat up, pulling her with him so they faced each other. How much time? 3 weeks minimum. And Marcus? She touched his face tenderly. I should tell you something. When I said I studied your files, it was more than professional interest. I've been watching your career for 2 years. Every negotiation, every decision. You're unlike any human diplomat we've encountered. You chose me, he said, understanding dawning. Just as you chose to follow me to the falls, to come here, to stay when protocol said you should leave. Her voice dropped to a whisper. We've been choosing each other all along. Marcus reached for his communication device, decision crystallizing. Commander Kane to Earth Control. Requesting extension of diplomatic mission. I've discovered an opportunity for deeper cultural exchange that could significantly enhance our alliance. Liralay's eyes widened as he continued. The Celestrans have offered to share their soul-binding practices, a profound trust-building technique that could revolutionize interspecies relations. I volunteer to participate in the full training. The response came after a long pause. Approved, Commander. The Council is intrigued. You have 1 month. As he set the device aside, Liralay launched herself into his arms, kissing him with abandon. You beautiful, reckless man. Do you know what you've just committed to? Teaching me will require extensive one-on-one instruction, I assume, he said with a grin. Daily. Intensive. Very hands-on, she confirmed, her own smile radiant. We should begin immediately. The first step involves synchronized meditation while maintaining physical contact. Should we eat breakfast first? She laughed, the sound like chimes. Practical even in romance. Yes, let me introduce you to proper Celestran morning cuisine. But Marcus, she grew serious again, this isn't just about extending your stay. If the soul binding works, we'll be connected forever. Are you prepared for that? I've been prepared since you took my hand on that landing platform, he answered honestly. Forever's beginning. 3 weeks transformed everything. Marcus had moved into Liralay's home after the first successful soul-binding session left them both shaken by the depth of connection, feeling each other's emotions, catching glimpses of memories, understanding without words. The theoretical diplomatic benefits were undeniable, but the personal impact was profound. Your mother makes excellent cloud bread, Marcus said, returning from a family dinner where Liralay's relatives had welcomed him with surprising warmth. Her parents had even taught him words in their ancient language. She likes you, Liralay said, curled against him on their favorite balcony. She said your soul shines clear, a rare compliment from her. Through their bond, he felt her contentment mixed with an undercurrent of sadness. Tomorrow was supposed to be his departure date. I've been thinking, she began, but Marcus pressed a finger to her lips. Wait. I have something to tell you first. He pulled out his communication tablet, showing her an official Earth control message. They've offered me a permanent position as cultural exchange ambassador to Celestara. If I accept, I'd live here, facilitating ongoing relations between our worlds. Joy exploded through their connection, but she contained her external reaction. And will you accept? That depends. I have a condition for Earth control. He touched her face gently. I requested that any permanent arrangement include official recognition of our partnership. No hiding, no pretending we're just colleagues. Marcus. There's more. He scrolled to another message. This came an hour ago. She read it, her eyes widening. The Celestran High Council was offering her the position of ambassador to Earth, contingent on Marcus accepting his role. We'd split our time between worlds, she breathed. Together. Building bridges while building a life, he agreed. If you want. She silenced him with a kiss that sent waves of love through their bond. When they parted, tears of happiness traced silver paths down her cheeks. Yes. To all of it. To Earth, to Celestara, to us. She laughed suddenly. Do you remember that first night? You thought it would be a simple diplomatic meal. And you thought you'd just be a professional guide, he reminded her, pulling her closer. Instead, we're about to become the first official interspecies couple in recorded history. Nervous? He asked. Through their bond, he felt her answer before she spoke it, a mixture of excitement, love, and absolute certainty.
No.
This feels like destiny finally catching up to what our hearts knew from the beginning. She stood, pulling him up with her.
Come?
We have calls to make, forms to sign, and a future to begin. As both suns set over the canyon, painting the sky in impossible colors, they went inside hand in hand, no longer diplomat and liaison, but partners preparing to unite two worlds through the simple, powerful act of choosing love. The end.